Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'd like to just sit for just another moment in silence, just another 20 seconds or so, and just feeling the expansion of everyone present. It's such an absolute delight to be here with you. I can feel the excitement from some of you who haven't done this before. I can feel the anticipation. I can feel the others, just an open not knowing, open to whatever happens, opening and feeling everyone and the gorgeousness of each of you as we start to settle into the healing container for today. So I would love to share just a little bit about who I am and what I'm offering and what we're here together to do today. There are so many of you that are joining for the first time, and so I want to thank you and thank each of you for that openness, to open to your own infiniteness, open through your own heart, and to experience the healing power, the healing potential of yourself and of consciousness, of source, of what we all are. These sessions are amplification of that truth of what you are, to help you have deeper access to this truth inside yourself. So to begin, I'll invite you into settling into yourself. Whatever you're feeling, whatever your thoughts are about this experience, to take a moment to soften into the present moment, to rest in your body, to gently breathe, inhale, exhale, softening into being fully present here in your body. And so as I share a little bit about myself and what's possible today, I'd love for you to continue to rest deeply in yourself, to soften and receive the presence of your own magnificence. One of the things that has happened for me in my path, in my awakening, is as I integrate deeper levels of consciousness, deeper levels of what we all are, my system then acts as one aspect, acts as a tuning fork or an amplifier to amplify that same truth that's awakened here, to support that awakening of that same truth in you. And so as I speak now and throughout the whole time, with that thought in mind, it can help you listen to what is being shared, but listen in a deep way where it's almost like my words, just the frequency of them is like a tuning fork. When you have two tuning forks in a room that are the same note and you strike one of them so it's vibrating, the other one starts vibrating without ever having been struck or even touching each other. And so this is what I'm speaking about, of this awakened truth of what we all are on the inside. And so when I'm speaking, one of the intentions or aspects of what's happening is that my words are simply that frequency resonating for you to then rest inside yourself and discover the awakeness and wholeness and infiniteness and truth inside yourself. So this is a great way to rest with the whole session. Whether I'm speaking about my life or my story just briefly in the beginning, or other aspects that I speak about during our time together, and even during the silence, to continue to rest in your own vibrancy, in your own magnificence. I'm going to be quiet for just a moment to see what is useful for me to share. Each of our awakening journeys are exquisite, and no two awakening journeys are the same. And so in my sharing, there's a perfection to the unfolding in the way that it arose, and that is equally true for you. We can share our stories to offer insight or wisdom or encouragement, and we can learn from other people sharing. But our own path, our own surrender in the depth of ourself is the power for you. So I'll just share a little bit more, and then we'll start moving more deeply into the healing, the focused healing. In my life, there have been multiple intense, chronic and acute health issues, from Lyme disease to chemical sensitivity to a variety of other things. And my awakening path has been surrendering through these sometimes debilitating experiences for years. And part of what I'm also offering as I share and step out in the world is the brilliance of our path and the perfection of our experience, no matter what those experiences are. There was a time when I was so sick, and I was doing massage therapy, shiatsu, Chinese medicine, and I would sleep up until the last minute to go to work, to give someone a session, and sleep 2 hours so I had the energy to do another session, do the session, sleep 2 hours so I had the energy to drive the mile home, to eat and go to bed to do the same thing. And it was in that process that an awareness came that the endurance that I was being called to step into, that endurance was akin to enlightenment, and that in enlightenment, resting in the purity of consciousness, of the infiniteness, it doesn't ever stop. And so those challenging years were cultivating a capacity to stay steady and to keep going no matter what. And so I sit here today sharing with you from real life challenges that we all go through. because we are all source consciousness. We are all the absolute totality of all existence in all the magnificence. And we have created ourselves in such a way that we can have experiences such as the beauty and brilliance of a human life. And we create the realm and the environment. We are the realm, we are the environment, and then we create the individuated vehicle to experience within that environment that we created. And so as source, creating the universe, universes, galaxies, eons and eons of experienced time. And we create layer upon layer. And then we can form, let me say this a little differently. Part of what's happened for me is in this awakening and in the expansion, we are all things. We are the cosmos. We are the atoms. We are all layers, all realms, all existence, differentiating ourselves into dimensions, layers, and form. We are light, sound, math, geometry, silence, infinite cosmic sound. And as I name these things, allow the frequency of what I'm saying to simply be a resonant sound moving through your body. For these parts of yourself to wake up, for you to begin to remember at your own perfect pace. And so when I rest here, I'm resting in all these layers simultaneously. And sometimes I need to pause because there's so much present that it takes a moment to allow it to distill itself down into linear language for me to be able to speak it. When we rest in this depth of ourself, there's multiple ways that one can begin to feel the love and the trust. For you to begin to feel more comfortable surrendering into your particular circumstance. Whether there's health or challenges or pain or exquisite expansion. As we continue to rest more in this truth of ourselves, we can begin to find in the inside the space between atoms and the size of the cosmos, because it is what we are. And as you begin to come into a deeper embodiment, both the macrocosmic and microcosmic size are within you. And even though these words make absolutely no sense whatsoever, when you begin to surrender into yourself deeply, and then even more deeply, this is all within you. One of the energetic structures that appeared to me in the beginning of my awakening is what I have called the core flow. And there are names for this in different cultures and traditions because it is a fundamental aspect of the way that we differentiate from oneness into individuated experience. And so this core flow you can experience in through the center of your being, the center of your body, core alignment. And you can allow yourself to gently be with this throughout our time, if that resonates with you. And whether you're aware of it or not is completely perfect. In my experience of this core flow, it is both source singular consciousness and the pathway in which source organizes itself in a centered way with dimensional bodies organized around this center trajectory. So how this would relate to you is when you are resting in presence and resting in your stillness and the infinite emptiness of your being, resting in your heart and wholeness and love. You're resting in a sense of presence, of I am embodiment that has a quality of the center. And yet you can't actually find it. You can't put your finger on it, you can't grasp it, you can't touch it, you can't hold it. But it's the very centered calm of your existence. This is where I invite you to rest. And whether this opens up in through multiple layers of your being, consciously or not, is irrelevant. Because always, whatever dimensional frequency you are resting within or perceiving from or experiencing or expanding into, this centered presence is always at the center. And so this is your guide throughout your experience of resting in the center and opening in through expansion. When you open through as oneness, the centered presence is still there. It's just experienced much larger. Some of you are going to be aware of being in the soul classroom during the healing session today. And for those that are aware on that level, I invite you to continue to rest in the centered presence of your being. And there will be multiple healing guides around you. And this is true whether you're aware of being in the soul classroom or not. So this is going to be happening for everybody. But for those that are feeling it, I want to give you a little more orientation for what you might be experiencing. So there will be multiple guides around each of you in the soul classroom with your soul. And the support is here to help each of you understand yourself better, learn about your soul path, and specifically, or in addition, as it relates to what's possible today in the healing session. So what we're doing today in the Soul Classroom is we're supporting everyone coming into greater clarity of that precise inner alignment with Source as Source. To ground you and root your infiniteness in through your core flow, in through your body, into the ground, in your humanness here. In this happening, there will also be greater communication between your humanness, your sense of yourself, and your soul, and the higher aspects of yourself and Source. The purpose is the intention is to support you having greater communication, which may simply look like feeling more guided, feeling more clear, having more of a sense of direction in your life, or more of quality of clarity of what's next, where to focus your life's energy, your life force, among other things. But in this moment, I'd like to just bring attention to that core flow and the support of all the guides that will be around each of you. And so in the Soul Classroom, and this will be, again, happening for everybody in the Soul Classroom, whether you're conscious of being in there or not, this will still be happening for your soul. That there are multiple guides around each of you, supporting you on the soul level perspective, from the soul, where you can see your life, and you can see the possibilities, the probabilities, you can see the choices, you can see the deepest, what words to use, let me be quiet and find some different language to describe this. We are the creator. We are Source. And in each of these, for lack of a better word, each of these down steps of individuated aspect. So infinite Source, and this is going to be very, very generic and very, very loosely, I don't know what to say, I'm just saying just a tiny little bit of what's actually happening, right? So in this, the Source then creating light realms, where we are then individuated light beings, light expressions, and then creating souls, and then creating human lifetimes. We can open up through ourself all the way back through, and when we're resting in these deeper places, we can see everything out in front of us. And when you're resting in the soul level, then you can see your life out in front of you, and you can see your other lifetimes. And so resting on the soul level with that perspective, you are being given support from multiple guides who are supporting you perceiving your options, your choices, the perfection of all the choices that you have gifted yourself from a higher level of being. There are master guides that are overseeing all of this support, and there are higher levels of beings above that, overseeing that, right? There's like multiple layers of existence that we all are, and that are engaging in this healing classroom together. It is with utter joy and delight that I rest here with you in this engagement to support each of us, each of you, coming into let me start this sentence over again. There's just one moment. So I'm beginning to shift to bring my attention more into the soul classroom. So I'd like to rest here for a moment and speak from here. And I'd love to invite each of you to open through your heart and to invite the possibility, of feeling the totality of your magnificence in through your heart. I often feel this opening up in through the back of my heart as I open up through the layers of my being and the whole cosmos and all existence. And then sometimes I feel it just resting where I feel like I'm the size of the cosmos or larger. And for each of you, I would love for you to open to that truth of yourself. In our humanness, we have lived with, but we've forgotten. And so we can feel smaller or contained or solid in a way that is not actually true. And so I would encourage each of you to open to the possibility of experiencing yourself in a profoundly new way that you have never experienced before and didn't even know existed. That you didn't even know that you were this stunning and magnificent. I can see this already. You are this. We all are this. This is what we are. And the purpose of this session today is to support each of you coming into that deep alignment within yourself and then opening in through the expansion that you already are. And this will transform your reality. This can transform everything. And so even after the session is completed, I would encourage you to, if you don't already have a meditation practice, to begin one. To allow yourself, even if it's only 5 minutes a day, to allow yourself time to sit and drop in to opening to this truth in yourself. And it may be that in our time together you have experiences that you can then reference later. That you recognize that deep truth in yourself and it's like a seed, being gifted a seed. And then on your own, in your own time and your own meditations, you water that seed. And so your experiences today, no matter how small or how large, can be cultivated as that precious seed of yourself, continuing to open to that magnificence that you are on the inside. So I would love to begin to shift. I'll respond to a couple of questions that people often have. You can be, which is your body positioning, you can be in any position. You can be sitting, you can lay down, you can fall asleep, you can stay awake and be present. It's going to be particular to each of you what serves you most. So I would encourage you to simply listen, just deeply listen to your body. Sometimes we have to fall asleep to be able to receive this deeply, and we wake up later and don't know what happened. Sometimes we sleep and these dreams happen and we remember the dreaming and can feel the power of that. Other times we're completely present in awakeness and aware of the shifting that's happening and the expanding that's happening. So I encourage you to listen to your body and be with whatever feels right for you. I'll also encourage you to not judge your experience. We often have no idea. We often have no idea the magnificence of what's happening. And surrendering into the present moment serves us most. Sometimes there are physical sensations and sometimes there's physical discomfort as energy is moving through to open and purify and shift and clear and create insight. And so if there are sensations that happen for you in your body, my invitation is to not judge them, to not be afraid of them. The fear creates a closing down, and then the sensation can stay longer than it needs to, because it's just showing up to actually be met in openness for it to then open and shift and resolve and let go. So it's not common that people feel discomfort, but just because there are so many new people here today, I'm just wanting to offer some of the options that happen so that you don't have concern about it. And just to know that that's a gift and that will move through. It will move through. Just continually allowing that spaciousness. Sometimes I speak through the silence, and sometimes the silence continues, or I may speak for moments. I want to just take a moment. It sounds like there's some sound issues. Just to do a quick check here. Is there anything that is needed from me to help with the sound? I'll just talk for a moment in case. Okay, that's better. Okay. So I'll assume sound is fine now. All right. So I'm going to just be quiet for a moment and Each of you will have your own experience, and I encourage you to trust whatever that experience is. Whether it's imperceptible or profoundly strong. We are just such magnificent, just one being, so it's magnificent being that we are. I'll speak if I can as I move into this deeper resting place in myself, and it's just harder to speak sometimes. So I'm seeing a combination of brilliant light, this exquisiteness of your being and of what we all are. And I'm seeing the layers of consciousness that want to be healed, that want the experience of healing and resolution. And so there's a gathering as each of you on the soul level it's a combination of you're perceiving on the soul level and the gifts that are being gifted in this session. So in this initial movement, I'm seeing both that soul awareness and the layers that are being highlighted, literally lit up with light, that have a density and a pain, the aspects that are ready for the first layer of transforming. So this is just about receiving this first layer, receiving light, opening, receiving and letting go, willingness to be met. The old stories and shadows. that want to dissolve, want to be met by light. It's the meeting of that light, of the truth of your being, that they dissolve. So there's an invitation to be willing to open, receive, forgive, feel, love, enlighten. And as we do this, I'm also scanning the soul classroom, supporting and witnessing, guiding the transformation for everyone in the way that is appropriate for me to support, in combination with all the other healing beings that are here to serve your greatest frequency, your greatest alignment. And I need to be quiet again. Allow yourself to just continue to center, surrendering deeper and deeper into yourself and into the light of your being. Or whatever your experience is, each experience is perfect and unique. Sometimes people feel seemingly random emotions rising up. Just allow them to rise and appear, and they will do what they need to do, dissolve, offer insight, information, and just allowing everything to just move as it wants to move. There's a purifying happening that produces this bubbling up, this releasing of old stored emotions and thoughts, memories, moments in time. Moving into deeper layers of time, your birth, the perfection of a newborn, the divine patterning for your growth, and opening deeper through the timelines. We're moving through these layers with love and light, illuminating your paths, to create clearer options, possibilities, creating new pathways for possibilities and choice and growth at a higher frequency than before. I encourage you to allow yourself to continue to open and expand softly, gently. Each of you are at different stages of self-remembrance. Trusting yourself, allowing yourself to open more deeply, resource yourself more deeply. beautifully and gently. Resting in the infiniteness of your being. Simply notice. Notice the expansion. The infiniteness of your presence. Resting in the spaciousness as spaciousness. And gently allowing yourself to feel your presence. And quietly feeling the magnificence of both having an infinite size resting in that infiniteness that has no beginning or ending, and simultaneously gently allowing yourself to recognize the form of your divine human body, ever so gently, so attention doesn't leave the awareness of the infiniteness of your being that has no beginning and end. And allow yourself to begin to feel both at the same time, your infiniteness and your sweet body. Where you can feel both home as the infinite and home in your body. Allowing attention to continually rest with the infiniteness, to not let the body distract you from the expansion you have been living. last little bit of time here together. Yeah, it's like just being in that infiniteness. We can forget this is what we are when we bring more attention to our physical lives, but we don't have to. And so this process in this moment is to help you feel the infiniteness of yourself while you are grounded in a physical form of a human body. Because currently you are both. You won't always have this human body, but you do now. And there's preciousness in that. Your infiniteness will always be. And so here in this integration, there's a coming together of the expansion, the expansiveness, infiniteness of your what you are. And allowing the synthesis, the experiential synthesis of your infinite expansion in human form. Allowing these two to rest as one. You are both infinite consciousness. Embodying as a human being. Letting these two aspects continue to integrate, permeate, saturate. Inviting the grounding of the infinite. That is the miracle that we are. Infinite grounding as a human being. Very gently, as I've been speaking, there's been a integrating in through the layers of your being. And that is still continuing to move through the dimensions or octaves of your consciousness, through to accessible human form. For your humanness to recognize your infiniteness. At the same time as being human. allowing the light of your being, this flame of individuation, oneness in you as you, allowing yourself to rest in this light and flame of life, of yourself, your own illumination. Allowing this light to continue to shine and illuminate and transform. Inviting and allowing the light of yourself to heal, guide, and love. Yes, it's continuing to integrate through your body, making its way all the way through your ankles, all the way down into your feet. Supporting the awakeness of your true being, your true nature. Ground, land, allow yourself to receive the wisdom that has come. Allowing it to be received now and through time as you are ready to integrate the next piece of your awakening and your enlightenment path. Knowing you have received many, many seeds of your own brilliance that you can water and nourish, nurture. in the coming days, weeks, years. Allow yourself to receive the blessings you have bestowed upon yourself through this gorgeous meeting of light beings. Appreciating, receiving. Allowing yourself to enjoy and trust the process. And deepen through your own knowing. Grounding the brilliance. Grounding the brilliance in this precious being and life that you are and are living. There's a gentle process that happens as we near the end of our time together. It's a gentle process where you find your own footing, you find your own ground after having been held so exquisitely in the soul classroom and the healing container. All that is here is within you. And there is a gentle grounding as we step back into our uniqueness, feeling the integrity of our field of our own uniqueness. And this allows you to come into a sense of cohesiveness on the inside, where you don't lose any of the expansion and wisdom and awareness that has come from being in the soul classroom together, but that you allow yourself to let go of the container of the classroom to rest in the container of your own brilliant embodiment, your own brilliant embodied being. And this way it is not jarring to shift from the brilliance and the support and the love of all that is magnified in the classroom. All of that is magnified, but it is also you. And one shifts from the container of the classroom to the inner magnificence in the container of your unique radiance. And this process continues. There is an additional streaming of God, Goddess, light, creation, whatever words you want to use, of this exquisite golden light of yourself pouring through in the soul classroom, but then also pouring through in through your core flow, in through your line of direct line of source through to your sense of self, your individual expression, your humanness, your life. I'll share a little more for ways to take care of yourself afterwards. And there still is that process happening of the integration of the soul classroom wisdom and love and support into your own field for you to be able to then complete the live stream feeling your own light bubble integrity, your own field. Shifting from having been in oneness with the soul classroom to the oneness inside. It is always helpful to drink lots of water. We purify on so many levels. And to open to the water also is consciousness, inviting in the purity, the purifying, cleansing brilliance of water to move through your body. There's something else here that wants to be articulated from the session. I'm seeing it's just so stunning. So stunning. Just the exquisiteness of the light of each of you coming into form, coming down in through and meeting the other aspects and layers of consciousness that all co-create for a form to happen. We are made of light and love and air and water and minerals, atoms, electricity, magnetic fields. It's all this. We are all this. And as you're coming into the grounding of yourself, it just makes me laugh, and seeing the exquisite harmony and play of all these unique expressions of the one totality, all in their own dancing to then form a human being for continual embodiment in life and joy. And so I'm seeing these other aspects all continuing to integrate and harmonize to a sense of completion for this session today. So drinking lots of water, giving yourself rest, and actually giving yourself some space, some time for quiet. We have gone incredibly deep today. And there's such a sweetness that can be there. And if you have the time to gift that to yourself, to just let yourself be without having to do anything, just rest in that spaciousness. And that can help you continue to integrate and just receive the beauty of what you are, and through your kinesthetic sense of yourself, through the felt sense of your body. It helps your body also remember what it is. There's a little bit more to share. Not much, just a little bit. It's been such a blessing to be with you, to feel the magnificence of each of you, and to feel the increased amplitude, frequency, integration of that in through your being. Thank you. Thank you so much for meeting me in this way. It's an honor and a gift for me to be able to serve and support in this way. And it's a gift for me to be able to see your magnificence and to see, I don't even have words, right? Magnificence doesn't do it, like the profound exquisiteness. And that your commitment to showing up today is a commitment to yourself and the divine, the truth of what you are. And that serves you and will continue to serve you in your life, and also serves everyone. The more of us that remember what we are and anchor and ground this truth, the more of us are then able to be tuning forks for everyone else, for others to remember that they are this too. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can join me again in a few weeks. I have another live stream healing for the Valentine's Day weekend to support you heal the inner masculine and feminine within yourself, and to also support the inner union of the inside masculine and feminine, to support your deepening of awakening and self-realization. And for all those that are new, I am here. My website is Kristin at KristinKirk.com. My name is spelled with 3 I's. The vowels are all I's. 3 I's like your third eye. KristinKirk.com. And there are classes that I offer. There's awakening trainings. There's video training series on how to facilitate your own awakening and deepen that self-realization process. So there are many ways to stay engaged, and please feel free to share and let others know about your experience. And I deeply welcome your sharing an email with me if you'd like to write and tell me your experience as well. So thank you so much for being here today. I don't have words for the image that's here. There's this feeling of each of you being in your radiant, exquisite light in through your heart, and for you to go to go in this grace as we part in this moment, to go in this grace of yourself and shine brightly for yourself and for all beings everywhere. Thank you so much. Yeah, so much love. Happy New Year. Namaste.